Okay, so now I've lost myself on the screen. There I am. Right. Please, please, if you're joining me now, let me know if you can hear me. This is take 2. First take a few minutes ago, nobody could hear me very well, so I've had a tweak with my settings. I can now definitely see that the green bars are going up when I'm using my microphone, and it's using the right microphone. So I'm really hoping you can hear me now. Please let me know. Okay, right. After all that panic, I'm going to very, very quickly have a drink. Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you so much for letting me know. Okay, so I'm just going to start again. Pretend the last one didn't happen. I'll go delete it later. Okay, so I'm really excited because through the joys and the changes of Facebook, the daily changes that we know happen at Facebook, I can now Facebook Live to you from my webcam. Fantastic. Thank you, Tracy. So yeah, I can now do this. It's brilliant. It's absolutely wonderful. You do need to be using Chrome as your browser. It won't work in other browsers, I don't believe, but it does work really well when you've got your microphone settings right when you're in Chrome. So try it. It's a brilliant way. One of the things I said the first time, I'm going to say again. So if you're hearing it just for the second time, do forgive me. If you're selling handmade products, what better way than to jump on a live video and tell people and show people. Sorry, I've got that little extra bracelet that I keep there because that's special. The teddy bear's special. And the bracelet is special, so they stay together. Okay, so what better way than to actually sort of show and talk and demonstrate, and you get your chance to touch and feel and be your audience so they can see it. So much better than a photograph, so much better. And the fact that now you haven't got to faff around with a phone. You don't need to kind of try and go, where's it going to balance, what am I going to do, or buy a tripod or buy the adapters, and you don't need to go down all of that route. You can now do it live on your desktop. All you need is a webcam and a working microphone, which I now have. So yeah, try it, give it a go, tag me, show me. I'd love to see you if you're brave and you give it a go, and just, well, yeah, show off your products. Right, wasn't what I was here to talk about. It's just I'm so excited to be able to use, I love new tech and giving things a go. What I do want to talk about is pricing handmade products. I see questions about this day after day after day after day, and all I see as well is people just saying, how much would you charge for this? How much would you buy this for? Oh, I think the price is too high. I can't charge that, surely. I've done my numbers. And the only way, thank you, Jane, the only way to price your handmade products and to make money is to know your numbers. It's the only way. There's no other way about it. You can't cut any corners. You can't ask your friend how much they would pay. You can't work out just the cost of making a new one and add £5. You can't work out the cost of a new one and times it by 2. It just simply doesn't work. And you definitely can't work out the cost and say, I make it for 20 quid. How much would you buy it for? Okay. First of all, your time is precious. The time that you put into making whatever it is that you make, okay, I love my cute little handmade bear, he's lovely. Whatever it is that you put into, the time that you put in, you can't get back. You can't do anything else at the same time. You can't multitask. Your time and energy is going into making your product. There's nothing else for it. You need to be paid for that time. Now, sadly, you can't be paid for all the admin, for all the marketing. You can't put all those hours together, but you can be paid for making this little guy or whatever it is that you make. You deserve that time. You deserve a decent hourly rate as well. You can't just be on minimum hourly rate, because do you know what? You are putting all these extra hours in as well. You do have to do your product listing. You do have to take your photographs. You do have to do all the admin. You do have to buy all the supplies. You do have to stock check. You do have to just sort out all the finances, do your accounting and do the marketing as well. Wow. And even make the cup of tea and clean the office or clean your workroom as well. But you won't get the money for all of those. What you will get is for this. So you do need to do your numbers, because you deserve to be paid. Okay? You do. You deserve it. It's blinking hard work running a handmade business and doing it yourself. But do you know what? It's so rewarding. It's so satisfying. And you can earn money from it as long as you know your numbers. So you've got to know the costs. The cost of making whatever it is that you make. He's a lovely little prop, isn't he? You've got to know those costs. You've got to know all your other expenses as well. And where you don't know them, you've got to guesstimate them to the best of your knowledge. So you've got to pay something towards your broadband, the connecting with people on social media, the putting your product listings up, whether it's on your website or Etsy or anywhere else, that you require broadband. That needs to be paid for through your business, not out of your pocket. You need insurance. Again, it comes out of your business, not out of your pocket. All of those expenses, even the heating, for whether it's in the shed at the bottom of the garden or whether it's a workroom, in your home, wherever it is, those costs need to be covered and they need to be factored in. It's all about the numbers. Now, I've called this pricing handmade products. It's easy when you know how, and it is. The way to get it wrong is just to ask somebody for their thoughts and opinions, because they'll always undervalue you, because they don't take into account all those expenses. They don't take into account that the cost of materials is always far higher than anybody thinks they ever should be. And they don't take into account your time. Your time is so precious. I've said it before. It's precious, precious, precious. You can't get it back. So you have to charge for it. And it takes so much longer than actually just the making hours. So you need to be earning well for those making hours. So what does that mean? That means that sometimes products aren't viable, or it means you need to find ways to bring the numbers down. That can be something as simple as completely reorganising your workspace so that when you've got an order, you're just going dump, 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 and you're speeding up your making time because you've got that routine in place. You know where everything is. You're organised. If you're not organised, your making time goes up because you're spending your time looking for, I don't know, looking for your scissors or looking for whatever it is that you're looking for. So you need to be organised with making and cut that time down to a bare minimum. You really do. There's lots of different ways you can do it. You can also add value to the product. So this little guy, like that would be worth one thing. Now, he didn't come with this particular little bracelet. Really didn't. But, oh dear. Popping him on an extra little thing with maybe a message on, again, that would add value. It's all about finding, but you could buy this in. Okay, you don't have to make everything. You can buy that in and add that on to add the value. So it's all about finding different ways to make value. Just a very quick example there. Packaging also makes a big difference. So you might end up spending a little bit more on packaging, but actually it might add an awful lot in value to your handmade product. There are different ways to make the numbers work. What you can't do is say, cost me 20 quid to make, what would you pay for it? Oh God, I'd pay 30 quid for that, and they think you're doing a favour. They do. The person thinks, if you ask somebody that, who doesn't know how much time and effort it takes to make something, they think, well, I'm giving them 50% again, aren't I? Wow, I'm doing them an absolute favour here. I'm quite happy to pay them that. But they're not taking into account the fact that it took you 20 hours worth of making to get to your finished product. So you can't ask, okay? You can't pluck a number out of thin air. You really can't. You can't just, because that's really what asking somebody is. It's just like going, that'll do. You need to know your numbers. Sometimes the product won't be viable, so you need to find those ways to, I want to say cut corners. I don't mean cut corners, but to either bring your costs down or to add the value so your item is worth the extra money. That's doable, but you can't just guess it, because if you guess it and you forget to factor in your insurance, and your insurance is, I don't know, £100 a year, that's £100 out of your pocket before you've made any money, and it's £100 that you think you've made that you haven't actually made. So you need to get the numbers right. Okay, so the easy way is to know your numbers. Really, 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 really easy way is to know your numbers. The hard way is just to keep asking people. It's to guess. It's to go, well, it cost me £20 to make, so if I times that by 2, wow, I'm making loads of money. Not if it's cost you 5 hours to make and actually your other expenses add up to, I don't know, that you should be factoring another, I don't know, £3. £20 plus £3, but you're not allowing for that £3. You're doubling to 40, but it's taking you 5 hours to make. I'm going to say expenses of £4, leaving you with just £16 for 5 hours worth of work. That's suddenly terrible. You're not earning anywhere near the minimum wage. Okay, minimum wage, I don't think is enough for an hourly rate for anyone who makes. Your skills, your talents, your time are worth so much more. But if you are earning the minimum wage, then actually, whew, you're far better off than somebody who is nowhere near it. So that is your bare minimum. Your minimum is, otherwise, yeah, you need to be earning money. The only way this is a sustainable business, that you can carry on making your precious handmade items, that you can carry on bringing those smiles to your customer, you can carry on doing that, is if you are earning enough money to enable you to do that. You have a life to live. You have a lifestyle that you need to maintain. Now, I don't mean you've got to go out there and you're suddenly going to start charging £300 an hour because that's the lifestyle that you want to have. We're not talking that. We are talking you need to be earning a sensible amount so you can cover your bills, you can cover your costs, and you can still go out and do the things that you want to do. You can afford to buy new clothes. You can afford, I don't know, any of that. That's how your pricing should enable you to live. The other thing that numbers do, knowing your numbers and being able to price that way, bare minimum. I love that, Lisa. That's brilliant. I like that. Yeah, the bare minimum. Did I say that without thinking about it? Oh, that is funny. Oh dear, right, yeah, what was I going to say? The other thing about pricing correctly. Okay, if you price correctly, can you tell this is one of my soapbox issues? It really is, because the amount of people that I've taken from earning £1 an hour, and that by charging more, which is really scary to charge more. I know it's really scary, but by increasing those prices, they're now not only making them hourly rate they need to be making and should be making and deserve to make, but actually they're selling more as well. Because, okay, I've missed my point that I was going to make. I'm now making another one, but it's fine. It'll all come back in a circle. When you are cheap, when you try and sell cheap, you are selling to people who don't appreciate handmade. They don't value handmade. If someone's looking for cheap, then mass-produced does the job. Okay? They're not looking for something with the best quality materials. They're not looking for that personalised touch. They're not looking for something that actually is going to be a treasured item and stay forever. Not working, Sharon, I'm not sure. Anybody else, let me know. Hopefully you can still see me and hear me. I'm going to carry on. Let me know. I'll keep an eye. If someone's looking for cheap, then they don't want handmade. Okay, you've got to get past that distinction. When you make, you are not looking to make the cheapest item out there. Okay, you need to be competitive within your marketplace. You need to be sort of within the reasonable level of positioning. But brilliant, thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Jane. Think about cars. Okay, you could buy a, I don't know. Thank you, Tracy. Brilliant. So, Sharon, it must be your end, Sharon. Oh, thank you, Fiona. Right. So, just think about the car market. There is room out there for your Ferraris and your Lamborghinis, and there's room out there for, I don't even know what the cheapest car on the market is at the moment. At one point, it would have been a Skoda. I know it's not now. Skoda have repositioned themselves, haven't they? But there is that big gap. Okay, I suppose the cheapest car on the market is going out and buying a runaround that's just scrapes through the MOT, and yeah. So, but there is room for all of that within the marketplace. Okay, handmade is up here with the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis of products, because you are putting your skills, your time, your experience, your talents into that. You are putting your care, love and attention into your product. It's never down here with the cheap second-hand runaround that you just need because you've got 500 quid to spare, so what can I buy quick and get out there and use. It's up here. That's where it needs to be. Okay, positioning wise within your products. So don't go cheap, because when people buy cheap, they expect cheap. That's what they're looking for. You wouldn't go out and expect to be able to spend £500 on a second-hand Lamborghini. I'm pausing to make sure that that's filtering through, that is making sense to you. Let me know if that makes sense to you, because it's such an important point. I see so many people who make various different things, and they're doing that. It's penny pinching all the way because they feel that they've got to be the cheapest on the market. It is not about being the cheapest on the market. It never's about being cheapest on the market. Cheapest on the market is going to be mass produced. It's everything that's kind of made in all those factories all over the world where you look at the conditions and think, no, nobody should work like that. That's the cheap products. If somebody wants those products, then you've got to let them buy them. Then yours are not the answer for them. Your products, your handmade products, are for a more discerning customer. There's a customer who knows that they've got to spend a little bit more for your skills, your talents, to have something made by you. Okay, that is so important when it comes to pricing. It isn't about being the cheapest. You do need to, right, and then once you get to within your handmade bracket, you don't necessarily want to be the cheap bottom there, you don't necessarily want to be the top. You want to fall into the middle, because you are worth what you are worth. You've got to bring your own design skills, your own talents, your own unique view on what it is that you make. You need to stand out from the crowd, whether that's adding value in some way. So with this little bear, yeah, he's got his own little, the cute face, the design is by the lady who made him. And you can then add value in different ways, whether it's, I don't know, you see bears with unique stones around the neck, so that they, yeah, so the, oh, I've lost all my words. You know what I mean? I know that you know what I mean, but you're adding that value, okay? In different ways. You're adding it and making it worth more. You're not trying to trim and cut costs to make it worth less. Okay. So, numbers. I'm ever so sorry, but to know your numbers, it does involve the maths, it does involve the sums, it does involve sitting down and doing some blinking boring, working out with, well, how often do I go to the post office? Okay, so you do one run to the post office and get, right, now I know how much petrol that I use, I know how far away it is. Okay, now I can guesstimate that if I was going to go to the post office 3 times a week, then it's going to cost me this. Now I can factor that price in. Okay, now I'm not going to sit here and actually give you the full details of a pricing formula, or my pricing formula. Mine, it's more of a system than it is a formula. Mine is all based on a spreadsheet. You put your numbers in and it gives you out what you need to know at the end. And normally you're quite scared by it. You think, I can't charge that. You can, because that's what you're worth. If you're not charging that price, where you've trimmed where you can, you've improved your systems to speed up your making, and where you've added value, if you still feel you can't charge that price, you either need to address the doubts in your mind, because actually you probably are worth that, or you don't have a viable product and you've got to then rethink your business. And I hate to be tough and I hate to be mean, but I know he costs more than £20 to make, by the way. I just think it's quite a nice number to talk about. If he's cost you £20 to make, if in the rounds of making him, you've got all these other expenses that add up to, I don't know, £5. So it's actually cost you £25 to make him, plus the postage. Let's say another £5. Again, I like nice easy numbers. So say it's cost you £30 to actually get him to somebody. From you starting him, making him, getting him in the post and getting him out there, to get to somebody's £30. If you're only charging 25, you might as well be putting £5 notes down the drain. If you're only charging 32, 34, again, is it worth your time and effort? Do you really want to be doing this? Because you're definitely doing it for love and you're not doing it as a business to make money. You need to know your numbers. You've got to get them right. You can sell as many as you want to at these at 30 quid. I bet, oh my God, people will be snapping your hands off. Your order books would be full and you'd be like, yeah, I can close my order book, I'm busy. But you're not making any money. Sometimes it isn't about being the busiest. It's not about having that jam-packed full order book, because it's about, if you've got your prices right, then actually you don't need to be that busy that you're running around like a headless chicken. You need to be busy enough. If you're charging the right level, you're making enough money that actually you don't need to be cramming everybody in and having orders coming at you left, right and centre. If that's happening, then you're probably worth a bit more. You can afford to put your prices up. Okay, so I'm going to stop now. I could carry on talking for hours. I can see that I've been on for nearly 20 minutes talking about pricing. I'm sure you've heard enough of my voice already. So just to conclude, pricing, you need to get it right however you do it. Find a system that works for you, a system that you're happy with and that you know means that you know exactly how much you're making off each product that you sell. You need to know that. You need to know, that's the other point I was going to make before, you need to know how many of a product you need to sell as well. You need to know your break-even point. You need to know, right, if I sell 10 of these in a month, I've made X amount of pounds, I've covered all my expenses, everything else, brilliant, is a bonus. You need to know that. That gives you your targets, it gives you your goals, it gives you how much do I want to earn in a year, this is how much I need to sell. Now you've got to focus for your marketing, and you can sort all that out as well. You need to be that specific. Okay. Right. My Make Your Way to Success course starts on Monday, and one of the big modules in that is my pricing class. The pricing system that brings all of this together that I've been talking about is available in that. It's one of the modules. Now, you can buy the class individually. I think it's about £30 for the individual class at the moment, because it's a really great class. It really sets you up with all your pricing for everything. But Make Your Way to Success is just £57 at the moment, and you get so much more than just the pricing class. If you're interested, let me know. If you still need convincing about your pricing, if you're still not exactly sure, I'm going to post a link below. I've just clicked away because I was trying to find the link and I can't see it quickly. I'm going to post the link below to a blog post, which I absolutely love. It came about because I saw a lady commenting about that she nearly cheered when she saw the really high price tag on a I can't remember what it was, a blanket, a knitted blanket, or crocheted. I can't remember if it was knitted or crocheted. You'll have to read the blog post to find out. But I think the price was in the hundreds, and she cheered, and so did I. So I really want to share that conversation with you, and on there there's also an ebook you can download to get more of my thoughts on pricing. Okay, so I'm going to go and find the link. Anybody got any questions? I found the link. Let me I'll grab that and do that now. Anybody got any questions? Let me know. I know there's quite a few of you here watching. It's just all very quiet. Have I done too much talking? Have I been... Have you got any questions about pricing your handmade products? That's my blog post link. Right, let me have a look, see if I can remember how much it was. It wasn't even hundreds. Oh my god. There you go. The quote I saw was, I was at a wool festival last weekend and there was a crocheted blanket shawl there priced at £2,000. My first thought was, finally, someone putting a proper price on crocheted items. Love that conversation. One that best. That's why I had to go and find out more. I had to find out more. If you want to know more about it, then it's in that blog post that I've just linked to. So, no questions. I'm not used to no questions. So, can you all still hear me is the first question. That makes me worried that nobody can hear me. Okay, so, while I'm waiting, see if anybody answers. Make Your Way to Success. We start on Monday the 25th. The price I mentioned at £57 is the early bird bonus offer. The course is normally £149. Okay, so for £149, you get everything normally. That price kicks back in on the 17th of January. So if you want to join for £57, Monday is your cut-off. Monday the 16th. Shall I post a link for that as well? Let me find that link if you're interested and you want to know more. I should have had these ready beforehand, shouldn't I? You can tell I'm not quite used to this. Brilliant. Yes, Mandy. Yes, Lisa. Can hear you. Brilliant. So fantastic. That's a good sign. Always panic if nobody then asks a question. I think you just told us everything. I hope so, Cassia. The only thing I didn't do was to tell you exactly how to do it. But you need to factor all of that in. You really, really need to. You need to have your direct costs covered. So all the costs it will take for you to remake your wonderful handmade product. You need to cover all your expenses, not out of your pocket. Now, you necessarily won't get this perfect. If it's your first time that you've done this, if you've got no history, if you've got nothing to draw on, then there is a lot of guesstimating involved, and that's when you come back and retweak. So it's on something like the spreadsheet that you get with my pricing class. That's really easy. You just tweak the figures and it changes you at the end. So that's fine. You tweak as you go. We all know prices go up regularly, don't we? Will you repost my video? I only came on a few minutes ago, Lisa. Yes, it will be reposted. I'm also going to put it as a blog post on my website. This is going to be my new way of doing my blog posts. I'm going to do a live video and then I'm going to pop it over on the page. So please join me. I'm going to aim to do 2 a week. We'll see how it goes. Chase me if you don't see me. So yeah, with pricing, it's your direct costs, it's all your expenses, it's paying yourself as well. And there should be a bit more in there, which I actually factor into the expenses to make sure that you can cover your marketing, you can cover coming up with new designs. So it doesn't matter if you've got to throw something in the bin because those costs are covered. And that experimenting is the best way to learn and come up with new products, isn't it? So yeah, of course I'll repost Lisa. Whew. Okay, is that it? Is everybody happy? Are you all happy with your pricing? The other thing with pricing is right now, this time of year, we're now coming up to the deadline for submitting your self-assessment for up to April last year, April 2016, and your year ending April 2016. So if you are now one of those last minute people who is doing your accounts at the last minute and getting a bit panicked, I've got to do this and I've got to do that, now is the perfect time to go over your pricing and to check that you've covered all those expenses, to check that, make sure, God, I didn't factor that in. For example, I use a tool called Hootsuite to schedule social media and to get ahead. It's about £10–11 a month. It's really easy to sort of forget to factor something like that into pricing and to make sure that that's covered, but you need to. So as you're doing your accounts, if you don't stay on top of them every month, if you're that last minute person doing them now and you go, oh, I haven't factored that in, you go back and you factor that into your pricing because you need to be covering that. Okay, so Miranda, what should you say if a possible customer asks why the prices are so high in their opinion? Oh, there's different ways. Depends how nicely they say it to you, doesn't it? But the simple thing is if you can make it for less, I've got to make a living. I'm worth it. My skills are worth it. My time is worth it. There are other people who do it out there cheaper. If you care to buy from them, please do. But you won't get the product that I make. Your product takes that amount of time. Now, there is a kind of caveat on your hours here, isn't there? That if it's the first time you've made something, right, I've got a little hair that's somehow moved to annoy me on the face. Anyway, if you're making this little fella, okay, and it's the first time of making it, it's going to take you a lot longer than it will the second time, the third time. You're going to speed up, okay? So you really can't take into account the amount of time that it takes to make him necessarily the first time. You've got to trim that. You've got to trim that time. So as long as you know that you are being reasonable, that you're not charging £100 an hour, that you're not charging for 10 hours when actually it only takes you 5 hours to make, if you know that your price is right and you believe in yourself, in fact, if you're still not sure about your pricing, watch. I've got a replay on. It's only available again till Monday. Everything's deadline of Monday. A replay of the webinar I did on Tuesday, free webinar. Have a watch because that's all about self-belief well, some of that's about self-belief, but you've got to believe in yourself enough that you know those numbers are worth it. And then when somebody says to you it's too high, you go, that's the price. Nobody would walk into John Lewis's or Tesco's or Selfridges or even Harrods or anywhere like that, pick something up off the shelf and go, that's too expensive. Not to the shop. They might think it when they pick it up. They might go, oh, it's lovely, but I can't afford it. But nobody thinks, oh, that's too expensive. Not really. Okay, they might think, well, I can get a cheaper version of that down the road in the pound shop. Yeah, you can get a cheaper version of it. Good luck with that. Go for it. If the person thinks that your product is too expensive, they are not your ideal customer. They want cheap. They want mass produced. Okay, I haven't got anything at hand. Okay. The thing teddy bears, right? Okay. This little chap is handmade. I'm sure there weren't many of him made as well. I think the lady who made this, she was a Welsh bear artist. And she did a few of each design. So she's not completely unique, but she did do a few of each design and they had numbers on. Sadly, I don't know what number he was. But I knew at the time I was buying something special. I knew it was handmade. I knew it wasn't mass produced. I knew it wasn't one of those just kind of cheap little teddy bears that of the equivalent size that you can pick up for £2.99. That wasn't what I wanted. I wanted a handmade bear that I could keep. I was 15. My nan had died. I'd been left £40 from my nan and I wanted to buy something that I knew I would keep and treasure forever. I'm now 41. I've still got this little guy. It's lived on my bedside table for all those years and now it's moved into my office because I'm spending more time in here and I see it. It's a special bear. It was bought for a special purpose. That's why I was prepared to spend £40 on something at 15, which is a long time ago, so it would be worth a lot more now if I was buying it. But yeah, it's worth it at that moment in time. If I'd wanted a £2.99 bear just to pick up and take everywhere with me and to chuck around and eventually throw away in a year's time, then I'd have wanted a £2.99 bear. It comes down to what somebody wants to pay, what they want to use it for. If you're targeting people who are looking for something disposable, they're looking for something that they can just sort of like wear once and throw away, they're not looking for something that's handmade. So the right person will appreciate the price being high. The wrong person won't. The wrong person can be two people. It's the person who can make it themselves. It's the person who does know the cost of buying the materials and they know the raw materials, but they do this for a hobby. So they have no regard, they're not looking to earn money from it. They're not looking to keep being able to make these sustain business because you've got your own bills to pay, you've got a life to live, and this is your income. They're not looking at covering those costs because they've got other ways of covering those bills. There's somebody who just buys the supplies, not worried about the extra expenses, not worried about the hourly rates. Yes, they will not appreciate it because they can do what you can do, albeit they're not looking at making money from it. Fair enough, it's brilliant, it's lovely that they've got that skill. How wonderful that the skill is carrying on. But they're not your ideal customer, so we're not looking to sell to them. Okay? We've also got the customer who wants cheap and cheerful. They want the disposable version of the item. That they oh, I'm coming back to pens. Anybody who watches me regularly is gonna laugh at this. Right. I'm looking for the cheapest pen I've got in my thing. It's going to be that one. Okay, so I've got two different pens, completely different pens here. This one, handmade, all these seed beads, all done by hand. You see them? Yeah? That was not a cheap pen. I chose to buy it. I chose to have it. This, cheap and cheerful as they come, what is it? Is a paper mate. Does the job. Pick it up, works. Don't care if you lose it. If you lose it, you just replace it with another one. Yeah? It's the kind of one that if you're in a job where people borrow your pen all the while, that's the one you want. Or cheaper. So, two different types of pens. You buy them for different reasons. If somebody is saying this one's too expensive, that's fine. This is the type of pen that they really want to buy. They don't need this one. They don't want this one. They don't want one that they're going to look after and protect and keep safe and go, that's mine. You can't use it. You can use that one, but you're not using this one. They don't want that. So it's understanding that actually when they say that, it's not a reflection necessarily on your price. It's a reflection on their need, on what it is that they want. And you just acknowledge, oh, well, okay, thank you for your feedback, but then this isn't the right product for you because that's the price. Okay. It's hard. It's hard, and the reason it's hard is when you make a product, when you've put your time and personal energy into making something, when you've sat down and just made this and spent all those hours and time with it, you've bought all the beads, you've put them all together, you've made it, you've listed it, you've sold it, you've posted it off, you've done every single job. When somebody picks it up at a craft fair and goes, oh, well, why is that so expensive? That's way too expensive. It becomes personal. It becomes like a personal attack on you. It's not. But it's too easy to feel that way. And when you feel that way, you start to have those doubts. You start to go, oh, maybe it is too expensive. Maybe I am overcharging. Oh no, I'd have more customers if I charged less. Ah, but you don't want more customers to charge less, because if this has cost you £20 to make and you're covering your time and covering your expenses, you're selling it for 40. If you start selling it for 30, you're not being paid for your time. You may cover your costs, you may cover your expenses, but you're not being paid for your time, which means in 6 months' time, you've got no way of paying your own bills. It means you've got to go and find a job. It means you can't make any more of these. It has that knock-on effect. It's that dominoes. You have to start with the price right, and you have to be stronger. Actually, there are people who will pay that money for that because it is worth it. It isn't worth it for you. You want that. It's your problem, not mine. It's not what you say to them. It's not the way you word it. But that is effectively the answer. Okay, what do you think? Is that any good? I've kind of not given you a short sentence to say back. I know that. I haven't given you that kind of that pithy response, that witty response that you can come back with. But if you can believe in your heart that you know that your price is right because this is your business and this is the price you need to charge to stay in business and that the right customers will buy it, your time and effort now needs to go. You go, actually, your lesson here is, I'm not talking to the right customer. I'm not talking to the right person who values my product. Okay. What do I know about you? Because you're not the right person. How can I change this and start talking to the right person who will want to buy a nice pen? Who will want to buy that special item? Who will want to buy a bear that's worth £40 in 1992 rather than £2.99 in 2016? Because they're out there, aren't they? We know that those bears are out there. But those are being sold in quantity. Those £2.99 little... I can picture them, they're really cheap. Yeah, but they're there. And they are brilliant for what they are. I'm not knocking that as a product, but they're very disposable. If you lose it, you go pick up another one. They do the job that that bear does. This is a different job. It's the Ferrari and Lamborghini to the £500 runaround. It's that positioning and understanding your value and your worth and that you're up here. Pleasure, Miranda. I hope that helped. I hope that kind of... And, okay, I am going to qualify what I've just said. I know it's easier said than done. Okay? I've had my own handmade business. I've had these questions taken to me. I've taken it personally, and then I've done that reality check of, hey, do you know what? I'm not here to give you stuff for free. I'm not here to make something for you to take it away and show it off to your friends and say how wonderful it is and what a bargain it was. For me then to down the line have no money to, I don't know, buy myself a new top because I've ruined the one that I've got. I've been there. I've done it. I really, really have done it. So I'm not trying to say this is easy, but it starts with you believing, it starts with this mindset, it starts with getting rid of all those doubts and believing that this is what I need to charge and this is what I am worth, and sticking to your guns. That's step one. Anita's just said, all great, but the trouble is finding that customer. How do you find that customer? Ha ha. That's all about knowing your niche. Right, I'm sticking with pricing today, but thank you, Anita, you've brought me around to Make Your Way to Success. I do cover knowing your customer and knowing your niche and all of that within Make Your Way to Success. So you don't just get the pricing in Make Your Way to Success, you also get to know your customer. You get to know your customer by doing your research. You start with common sense, you do your research, you start talking to them, you listen to their feedback, and then you keep going. It's all about testing and tweaking. It's really, if you're going to do it without having a course to help you, it's trial and error and working it out. The people who are out there making money from their handmade businesses, the people who are being successful in their handmade businesses have figured out their ideal customer, and that's the only person they're talking to. There is no point talking to somebody who wants this pen if you're selling this pen. There's just 0 point doing it. You're wasting your time. You might think you're doing brilliantly because you're talking to this ideal customer and they love pens and they love stationery and they love writing things and that they're responding to you and engaging with you. But if at the end of the day they're loving what you're talking about and loving your pictures, but then they're going out and buying this one and not this one that you make, they're not your ideal customer. So you have to have your ideal customer pinned down. Again, my webinar on Tuesday, let me see if I can find, okay, sneak preview, but the webinar that I did on Friday, I covered my business success formula. Okay, and we went through all of these, and you can see that here we've got knowing your numbers, which is your pricing, and here we've got knowing your customers. This is all before you start doing actually any marketing. You will go back and tweak these and test them because your costs and your expenses change, your knowledge of your customer develops, but you have to put the time into doing that. It is all about the research. And your customer will be different to my customer, will be different to even somebody else who makes a different style of teddy bear. This teddy bear is a collector's teddy bear, so this is targeted at adults. It's targeted at people who I'm not buying it to play with it. There's somebody else that will make a teddy bear that's targeted for that's CE tested and suitable for children. Those again, different audience. You have to pinpoint your ideal audience. You've got to know where they shop. You've got to know what TV they watch. You've got to know what films they watch. You've got to know where they spend their time online. Are they on Facebook? Are they on Twitter? Are they on Instagram? Are they on Pinterest? Where do they live? How old are they? Have they got young kids? Are they grandparents? Is there a specific job that you cater for? If you're doing teachers' gifts, then obviously you want parents of children of school age, but that kind of slightly lower school age rather than the higher school age. Once you know that, you can use things like the Facebook targeting and the Facebook adverts to really nail that down. If you're doing a craft fair and an event, you want to target people who, I don't know, who love Etsy, who love handmade, who love your particular kind of product and have a need for it. So if it's for children or parents, and then you also want to be adding in that you want them within this particular area and telling them that there's about a craft fair. It's about taking that knowledge and then putting it into use. If it was really, really easy to find that customer, Anita, then everybody would be super successful, wouldn't they? And then the market would be super, super crushed and really, really hard to kind of be seen in. Whereas if you think it's already a really busy marketplace, it's the ones who know their ideal customer who peek their heads out the top and do really, really well. And that's where I want you to be. That's what I want to teach you. That's what Make Your Way to Success is all about, is giving you that knowledge and those skills to do that so that you can then get your head around your marketing, know who your ideal customer is, so know that when you learn and make sure that you're using the social media, the email marketing and all the other marketing that you can do and get out there, you know that you're talking to the right person, so it is super effective. So, okay, there is a link somewhere in the comments for Make Your Way to Success. I'm going to add another one. Make Your Way to Success. We start on the 25th of January. If you want to join, I suggest you join before Monday before Monday the 16th, because it's only £57 up until that point. After that, it goes back up to 149. It's been 149 for a couple of years now. So it's a really, really good price at 57. It's January. You need a kickstart to the year. You need that knowledge boost. You need this year to work for you. So I've gone, do you know what? Let's put a really good price on this. So there's that. There's a post somewhere as well with a link to a pricing ebook if you want to know more about pricing. Hi Terry, hi Kim. Anita, let me know what you think. Tell me a little bit more about your product maybe. Mind you, I've just seen the time and I do need to go. I meant to have a meeting at 11 o'clock. Terry, you're booked. I can't wait for it. I know, I'm excited. It's brilliant, Terry. I'm really excited. I love Make Your Way to Success. There's so many aha moments. There's so many... And even if you're established in your business and you think you know your pricing and you think you know your ideal customer, sometimes doing something like this course, taking through that process and you get 4 modules over 4 weeks. You get 2 live Q&As with me, so properly asking questions and me answering them about your business. You get a Facebook group with me in it, so we're asking questions as we go through it as well. But you get me for, I think it's about 2 months that you get me for, to answer your questions. But if you can work through in those 4 weeks, you can turn your business around and go, wow, massive light bulb moments, and get on with it. Absolutely brilliant. Love to work with some of you. Wasn't why I came on today. I came to talk about pricing, but I cover pricing. One whole module is all about pricing, all about knowing your numbers. Hi Sarah. Hi. So let's do it. Let's get together. Let's make 2017 the year that you know your numbers, you know your ideal customer, and you get your marketing sorted. Yay. Right. I need to go. It's gone 11 o'clock. I did not expect to be wittering on for this long. I know I can talk, but wow. Okay, so my plan is that I'm going to be using Facebook Live videos. Hi Kim. Oh, fantastic. I'm going to be using Facebook Live videos for my blog in future. This is me effectively live blogging, and I'm going to be then putting them onto my website, so that becomes the library, the archive, if you like to keep them all in, so they'll always be there. So join me. I'm going to try and keep them shorter in the future. I'm going to go away and plan some of the things that I'm going to talk about now in some of them. So if there's something you'd like me to cover, let me know. I'd love to know so I can cover them in a future blog. And I'll try and be a lot more succinct instead of getting excited about Make Your Way to Success starting. But yes, I love it. I've been doing this course now for 3 years and really, really love it. Brilliant. Pleasure, Cassia. I hope it helped. Any topics you'd like me to cover in the future, let me know. I can't be personal, otherwise known as vlogging. Of course, Jane. Live vlogging. There you go. I was going to say, I can't personally help and go into details about individual businesses when I'm doing this, but I'm more than happy to answer those general questions and to give you those prompts and guides in the right direction that you need. Right then, I'm going to go now.